I would like to welcome again Alwaiz RIYAZ MOMIN to continue his set of lectures on Haqiqi didar. This is part 3. Welcome, Alwaiz.
Yes. Maulana, thank you so much, Karim Sahib, for your kind words. With Maula's mercy, Allah's help, Tawfiq Taid Himmat Yari, and everyone's prayers, we just start with this Quranic verse, which is Surah 88, ayat number 6. ربنا أتمم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير ربنا أتمم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير ربنا أتمم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير. O Lord, perfect for us our light and forgive us. Indeed, you are over all things. Surah number 66, verse number 8. Shukran lillah, alhamdulillah, shukran lillah, alhamdulillah. So let's come to our book which we are doing, the True Vision, which is Haqiqi didar. So let me just pull up the screen real quick. So today we will cover three more chapters in this one. So before we start that with Ali Allah's mercy, it's very beautiful to learn from the book Sarair. And this book, as you all know, that Sarair is written by our great Ismaili Dai and Hujjat Dai Jafar bin Mansur al-Yaman. And in his book Sarair, he explained, and Dr. Faqih Sahib had explained to us related to this point. And in Sarair, he was also Dai and also Hujjat, Pir Jafar bin Mansur al-Yaman wrote that there are tourist angels in this world, tourist angels. So as we know that, of course, for the bounties of Jamaat Khana, when we attend Jamaat Khana and we engage in zikr and tasbih, there are good souls and good spirits and good angels are present in Jamaat Khana. And we can able to see those good souls if we can activate our spiritual senses. But since our spiritual senses are not activated, therefore we cannot see that. But we have this knowledge of certainty, that ilmul yaqeen, we know that. And how we know that? We know that through the Ismaili literature and through the ginans of our various peers, like Pir Sadruddin and Pir Hasan Kabiruddin. As in one of the ginans, Pir said that Sarak Bhavanti Hura Aire, Nur na pyala laire, that good spirits are there in Jamaat Khana, and these good spirits and souls have brought to us the barakah, blessings, and the nur of the Imam. And so that's what we learn from the Ginan also. So in Sarair, Dai Jafar bin Mansur al-Yaman wrote that there are tourist angels. So what these tourist angels do, that these tourist angels are looking for those gatherings where people are engaged in the remembrance of the light of Allah. In other words, those who are engaging in the remembrance of Mawla. So these angels descend at those places where members of the Jamaat are engaged in zikr, tasbih, and in acquiring knowledge. So Alhamdulillah, in addition to Jamaat Khana attendance and Jamaat Khana ceremony and Ibadat, this platform is an additional platform for us, and it's an additional platform in that sense that we are engaging ourselves in zikr, tasbih, and acquiring some spiritual knowledge through Imam's help. So that's a good thing. And therefore, Maulana Hazim Ahmad alayhi salam said in his various faramin that, we acquire knowledge of wherever we can find. And then, of course, we all seek for good sources and good resources and good forms. And so with this introduction, because this thought just came into my mind, my humble submission is, in addition to our regular attendance in Jamaat Khana, whenever we get time during the daytime, we engage in zikr and tasbih, not only individually, but collectively, with the family, with the friends. And that's how we invite good souls and good spirits in our homes, And another example would be the example of a garden, a good garden, where it's clean, and where there are beautiful flowers and trees there. So that attracts to the beautiful butterflies and the bees and the birds to come to that garden. So we create that garden within our personal world, within our inner world, and we equipped ourselves with zikr, tasbih, and ibadat, and make the garden, which is within our personal world, very beautiful through zikr and tasbih and through haqiqati knowledge. And that through that we invite and we activate the light of Imam within us. So let's come to this one which we will read today, the Quran and the Imam. So if assigned volunteer would kindly read this chapter.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The vision, the Quran and the Imam, chapter page 9. The True Vision is the book, name of the book. The Holy Quran is the wisdom-filled speech of God, the glorification and veneration of which is incumbent upon every pious Muslim, and in this connection all appropriate manners, rendered in words and deeds, are commended. Similarly, the respect and veneration of the Imam of the time is also incumbent and necessary, because by the command of God he is not only the exalted rank of the teacher of the Quran, but also of the speaking Quran. It would be a glaring audacity against the sanctity and honor of the Quran if someone denies the honor and veneration of the Quran just because it cannot remove a fly when it sits on it. Similarly, if someone objects to some human aspect of the exalted Imam, and on that ground says that he should not be respected and venerated, then this would definitely be a weakness of his intellect and a grave error indeed. The example of the Quran, according to Islam, is that first, it should be accepted with devotion and love and kept with oneself, whether traveling or at home, and to read and understand it, and then act upon its teachings. Similarly, first of all, one has to accept the exalted Imam with sincerity and certainty, then to create within oneself friendship and love for him and full zeal for his vision. Then, as a consequence, is attained the light of his teachings and guidance, in the illumination of which, acting upon the commands of God and the Prophet, eternal salvation is attained.
That's done.
Want me to
Thank you
keep
so
going?
much for this
Okay.
beautiful reading. Yes, so let me explain this and then we will go to the
Sure, sure.
next
Shukran,
one
Yalla.
after that. So in this one, just to highlight some of the important points, the topic is the Quran and the Imam. And it reminds me a hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which Prophet said that Ali ma'al Quran wal Quran ma'al Ali, that Ali is with the Quran and Quran is with the Ali. So here, if we reflect on this hadith, it's not that physically Hazrat Ali alayhi salam was carrying the Quran wherever he goes. This is in essence because Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, he was the essence of the Quran, and he was the speaking Quran. As we know these terms, Quran-e Samit and Quran-e Natiq, the silent book, and the speaking book, the Qurani Natiq. And in this reference, we also know that this Quranic verse, Surah number 23 and verse number 62, that one day Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, he was reading the Quran with his companions, and he came across this particular Quranic verse, Surah 23, verse 62, which says that, "O Book of Lord, speak." And at that point, Mawla Ali alayhi salam stopped and he closed the Quran and he placed the Quran on his head. And then Mawla Ali alayhi salam said 3 times, "O Book of Lord, speak. O Book of Lord, speak. O Book of Lord, speak." But of course, it was a silent book. How can the book speak? And then Mawla Ali said to his followers, to his murids, that this is the silent book and I am the speaking Quran. I am the speaking book. So this is what we need to understand, that of course the Quran is it's important for us, but in order for us to understand the Quran, we need the guide, and through Imam's guidance, we can understand the Quran in the current time. For example, in the Quran, there are levels. We find the commands at the level of Shariat, and then at the level of Tariqat, and at the level of Haqiqat, and then at the level of Marifat. So if one can read the Quran, one cannot read it by him or herself. The person needs the guide, the teacher, to understand with its level of haqiqat and the level of marifat. And when we study the Ismaili preamble, it's connects and it resonates with this notion of love and affection for the Imam, as we heard in this article. So in the preamble, in the Global Ismaili Preamble, Maulana Hazimam wrote, "The authority of the Imam in the Ismaili Tariqa is testified by Bayya, by the Murid to the Imam, which is the act of acceptance by the Murid of the permanent spiritual bond between the Imam and the Murid. This allegiance unites all Ismaili Muslims worldwide in their loyalty, devotion, and obedience to the Imam within the Islamic concept of universal brotherhood. It is distinct from the allegiance of the individual Murid to his land of abode." So as we read here that Allama Sahib wrote about allegiance to the Imam and zeal and affection to the Imam, and that point is very important, that through devotion and affection, we can able to learn about the spirituality of the Quran. And we also find this Quranic verse, which is Surah number 5, verse number 15, in which Allah says that قَدْ جَاءَكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ نُورٌ وَكِتَابٌ مُبِينٌ, that we send the light.
We have lost your audio, Riyaz, Alwaiz. It looks like we've lost Alwaiz, Riyaz, Momin. We'll have to wait for him to reconnect again. Please bear with us with these technical difficulties. While we're waiting for Alwaiz Riyaz to join, Yasmin Saiba, would you like to say a short zikr until he joins?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Al-Hay, 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 Al-Hay. يا مقلب القلوب 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 علي الله أكبر 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 رفيع الدرجات ذو العرش رفيع الدرجات ذو العرش رفيع الدرجات ذو العرش رفيع الدرجات ذو العرش رفیع الدرجات ذو العرش رفیع الدرجات ذو العرش یا رضوان 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 Alhamdulillah, 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 Alhamdulillah. وأشرقت الأرض بنور ربها 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 الودود 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 لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد 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 اللهم إني أسألك بأسمائك الحسنى اللهم إني أسألك بأسمائك الحسنى اللهم إني أسألك بأسمائك الحسنى شہزادۂ یگانۂ شہنشاہ بے مثال پروردگار پاک خداوند لاعزال شہزادۂ یگانۂ شہنشاہ بے مثال پروردگار پاک خداوند لاعزال شہزادۂ یگانۂ شہنشاہ بے مثال پروردگار پاک خداوند لاعزال الاکرم 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 شاہ کریم 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 الاکرم مشکل آسان یا علی مدد رسان یا علی 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 شکرا للہ والحمد للہ 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 شکرا للہ والحمد للہ
Shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Anybody else would like to say zikr?
جی کریم صاحب
Shukran. Inshallah.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم علی اللہ مدد فرما الواحد القہار علی اللہ مدد فرما الحی القیوم علی اللہ مدد فرما مدد فرما لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا الہ الا انت سبحانک انی کنت من الظالمین لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا 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 الحي القيوم لي الله 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 وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا. In response to friend, this means, and thy Lord shall come with angels, rank upon rank. And thy Lord shall come with angels, rank upon rank. وَجْآ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا وَجْآ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا وَجْآ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا وَجْآ رَبُّكَ والملك صفا صفا وجاء ربك 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 والملك صفا صفا. توفيق تأييد همة ياري 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 شكرا لله والحمد لله شكرا لله والحمد لله
Subhanallah, 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 Subhanallah. Riyaz Sahib actually lost his electricity and we have a bad weather here, so he's not able to connect for some reason. And so what we'll do, because friends are here and we had set this intention to discuss this chapter, so let us review this with Maula's mercy, inshallah, and your prayers. This is a beautiful chapter in the book Haqiqi, Didar, the True Vision. And it talks about the Quran and the Imam. Quran is a wisdom-filled speech of God. We all know the Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad. Each verse has very many wisdoms in it. Not just one, not just two. Even there is a Prophet's hadith that there are 70 bawatin, 70 hidden batin in it. In another hadith, it is being said that there are not 70 but 700 wisdoms in it. Now, each verse, when in reality, if we were to study, each verse is actually relating to Imam. If we were to study the Quran with its Tawili understanding, each verse connects to Imam. And surely those who are pious and true Muslims, they would connect to these words. And we are so blessed being Ismailis that the Tawil, when we understand every word, makes us fall in love with Imam. Because every word, though some verses talking about infidels in Quran, but in reality, if we were to look into it, we would find Imam. So every verse which is positive, there is a hidden negative in it. Any verse which is negative, there is a hidden positive in it. And as an Ismaili Momin, when we study the Quran in the light of Ism Azam, we are able to see the secrets, the pearls of the wisdoms which are hidden in it. Alhamdulillah, due to the rahmat of Imam, it is upon us that we study Quran. Now, when Khuda Ta'ala had revealed Quran as a book containing all the verses, it is out of His mercy that He will send a book to us but without a teacher. In the worldly examples, if we were to take a child who we make him sit in the library, he will not be able to study any books in the library without a teacher. As a human being, human children growing in this world, a child needs worldly education to be able to read and benefit from the books given in the Quran. Similarly, as Ismaili Mominin, when we are at the journey of learning our tariqah, its tawili meaning. We all have been in our tariqah, but what had happened that we were taught the blind faith by our parents. And happily we followed, our parents were happy and it was expected, it was normal. But when we started to ask questions, wanting to learn why are we doing that? What is the benefit? At that time, we realized that it cannot be Allah's mercy that He would send a book to us without a teacher. And that teacher in reality is Imam-e-Zaman. However, the way we understand this principle that how Imam is our teacher, Imam actually is the example of king. He is Badshah. Badshah has very many slaves to do his work. So he chooses his slaves to teach to Jamaat. How does he teach his slaves? There are very many ways. And the most powerful way is that Imam, being the Noor of Allah, the embodied Noor, he teaches us in our batin. He teaches his slaves in his batin. And through direct knowledge, ilme laduni, we are benefiting today from this book, because the writer of the book is someone who was given the direct knowledge in his batin. And through his sacrifices, his writings, this light has spread all over the world, and especially on Ismaili Jamaat, that we are all blessed with this Tawili ilm which is hidden in the Quran. So Imam is actually Quran-e-Natiq. He is the speaking book. And we all have learned the term silent book or Kitab-e-Samit, which is the book Quran. Quran doesn't speak. And Riyaz Sahib was actually quoting an incident when Maula Ali was reciting this verse in which it says, Yantaku, meaning the book speaks. Chapter 23, verse 42 somewhere, he was mentioning that. And when he reaches to that verse, Maula Ali reaches to that verse, he literally takes those scriptures. At that time, you are very right, Fatima, that there was no book as per se, but they used to write on the leather, on the leaf, whatever he had, he put it on his head. And he said, O book, speak. O book, speak. O book, speak. Of course, the book will not speak. The teacher will speak. The book is silent book. And Maula Ali spoke about that Quranic verse, explaining that how a book cannot be a teacher. The book needs a teacher, and that teacher is Imam-e-Zaman. Imam is the one who teaches the Tawilat to Jamaat. But in every point in time, Imam chooses his slaves. The way we all know about Pir Sadruddin, Pir Hasan Kabiruddin. They knew the Quran. They had traveled from Iran to subcontinent to teach it to Jamaat, to spread the work of Dawah. And that's how the Jamaat in that area became Ismaili. So it is the teacher who teaches. It is the Imam who teaches. And in today's time, we do know that the Piratan has been merged with Imam. There is no Pir as per se. However, the work of Imamat is never stopped. His work is continuously going on. Now, the second paragraph talks about the sanctity of the book itself. Nobody can deny that it is the book of Allah. It is the book which was revealed to Allah. When we accept the exaltedness of the book, of course, automatically, we will accept the exaltedness of Imam. It is the Imam who is the one who teaches, who is without any error, who does not have any weakness. He is Aql Kul. He, being the Aql Kul, teaches our intellect, which is known as partial intellect or Aql Garizi. It is through his nurturing, his nourishment, that we come to learn about this book. And it is very beautifully mentioned in Surah Fatiha, the first chapter which we recite in our dua 3 times a day, that he is Rabbul Alameen. Rabb meaning the one who nourishes, nourisher of the worlds. When Imam Jafar Sadiq was asked to explain the ta'wil of the word Alameen, the worlds, we knew about one word. What are these words? When Mawla was asked, Mawla mentioned that it is about you being the universe, as Mawla Ali has said, that don't think of yourself as a small being, the whole universe is within you. So you as an individual is an alam, and each alam is being nourished by the Rabb, Rabbul Alameen, meaning that if we have come to this world and we need to have the recognition of Imam, we need this Tawili ilm to be able to elevate our ranks in our batin. For that knowledge to come to our heart, we need to be having this knowledge to recognize the Imam. Therefore, we understand that how Imam nourishes the worlds. And each one of us right now, individually, is a whole world within us. And it is truly Imam's mercy that those who are devoted, those who love Imam, those who are Farman Bardar, those who seek knowledge in the light of Tawili ilm, they will be able to understand, realize, recognize, comprehend the very delicate secrets which are hidden in this wisdom-filled book within our batin. Now, it is also important that we not only seek this knowledge and understand what is it saying, but to be implementing. This book is actually a book of guidance. It is not the book of story. So when we get the guidance, the question is, do we follow the guidance? Do we work on that guidance? If we do not work on that guidance, then we are not fulfilling our objective. The reason we have come to this world, when Prophet Muhammad was asked, why did Allah create this world? Why did we come to this world? What was the reason? And the answer Prophet gave, that he is the hidden treasure and he wanted to be recognized. For us, it is so easy to really comprehend this concept, that the whole world sees Imam as a human being, philanthropist, But for us, we know, we see the Noor when he comes for didar, our inner being, pulls towards him. Every particle in our being runs towards him, seeking his didar, desiring his closeness, loving him, devoting in our heart and mind for Imam, because he is the embodied light of Allah. He is the Noor. It is in his recognition that we will find the hidden treasure. In reality, if someone asks, where is that hidden treasure? In reality, it is Imam of the time, who is living, present hidden treasure. But that hidden treasure is actually given to us in the form of Isme Azam. That hidden treasure is given to us in the form of Isme Azam. And it is only available for Ismaili Jamaat. Why? Because we are in Bayat of Imam. We have given tan man dhan. We have made this contract. We have given this promise to Imam that we would submit our body, soul, intellect to him. Everything is Imam. Everything belongs to Imam. Imam says, I accept, but I return it to you to live in this world, but do not forget me. And that's how we live our life in this world. But when we realize that what promise we have really made, when we are adults and we start asking questions, that blind faith is not enough. At that time, we realize that accepting this sacrifice of voluntarily taking Isme Azam with the desire to come close to his light is one of the beautiful sacrifices we have made in our life. Because Imam is so merciful He gives his secret to us in a form of a word. And our peers have explained to us, Sata Shabad hai Guru Hamara, that this word in reality is the Guru. But how do we recognize that Guru? How do we find that Guru? And in reality, this book is actually helping us understand that through that word, we are seeking his Haqiqi didar, the true vision. And for that, there are conditions. There are conditions. And we do know about Isma Azam and its ibadat and fulfilling its condition. But along with that, the reason I mentioned Isma Azam because to worship him is a command given in Quran. To remember him is a command given in Quran. So if we were to read Quran, understand the batin, but if we do not work on it, it won't work on for us. So our first and foremost duty is to be regular in our Isma Azam ibadat. If we are sincere in our ibadat, then only we would realize that there is more we need. And somehow we become interested in the journey of knowledge because we are seeking, we are asking questions. How do I know I'm progressing? Why do still these thoughts disturb me? What is it? Why is it? And that's how we enter into the journey of knowledge. So Alhamdulillah, when we have this book of guidance, along with this understanding of guidance, we have to improve our deeds, work on hidayat. When we talk about improving our deeds, it is not limited to 1 hour Nurani time ibadat. The most important is ibadat, believe it or not. That 1 hour is so powerful that the light is spread throughout our day, throughout the 23 hours. But it is very easy to make those 23 hours as dark as pitch dark night. How? When our amal is not pak, our deeds are not pure. And Riyaz Sahib just started his session actually talking about angels who travel. And he was telling us that it is mentioned in the book Sarair by Sayyidina Mansur al-Yamni. Right now, when we are talking about Imam, praises of Imam, and all the Tawili knowledge which is given in these books, and when we study it, there are angels who visit, who listen to these lectures. And these angels can also become our helping angels if we are keeping our deeds pure, if we are sincere in our ibadat, if we are watchful, mindful of our deeds during 23 hours, if we are meeting these conditions, then these angels, angel of knowledge, angel of zikr, there are very many angels. There's a whole army of angels which is actually assigned to help mu'minins. In our batin, they all are present. The reason we don't realize their presence or we are not able to get their help, it's because we have not activated, we have not worked upon our inner senses, the Batni senses. When we have activated our Batni senses, we will be able to realize these angels, sense their presence, talk to them, listen to them. It is all possible through our inner senses. So we were talking about Prophet Muhammad saying that he is a hidden treasure. That hidden treasure is that word, Ya Ali, Isme Azam. Within that hidden treasure, the whole universe is actually within it. When Peer says, Sata Shabad hai Guru Hamara. Our Guru is the sustainer of the whole, all the worlds, Rabbul Alameen, sustainer of all the worlds. So if we were to identify, recognize that hidden treasure, which is within that, tiny word, we can write it down on the paper, few alphabets. But in reality, there is a whole universe hidden within it. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, it is mercy of Imam that when we listen to these sessions and we feel motivated to be very attentive and focused. The way Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah in his Baitul Khayal Faramin says that tamane chokkas besu જોઈએ. You got to have your concentration when you sit in ibadat. So when we sit in ibadat and focus on that word, that hidden treasure, ganje makhfi, hidden treasure is actually our treasure. You know, Ism-e-Azam is that powerful name that when we recite it by fulfilling all the conditions which are set on our 24 hours, when we do that, with Imam, we actually develop a relation. You'll be very surprised of these terms. We've never used these terms, I don't think so. So let me tell you, today is the day, because we were tested that are we going to be patient or not, and somehow we stayed patient. So Mawla is helping us. There is a link, though Imam uses this word in his Baitul Khayal Faramin, that link by link we come close. What is the name of that link? There are three names of that links. It is link of knowledge, ilmi rishta. Then there is link or relation of spirituality, ruhani rishta. Then there is luminous link, luminous relation, which is called nurani rishta. When we recite the Ism-e-Azam, we actually work on these three types of relations which we can have with Imam. Ruhani rishta, nurani rishta, ilmi rishta. Very interestingly, again, these are learned in the journey of knowledge. Though it may sound very simple, but my dear brothers and sisters, it is not simple thing. It is not simple to realize that these relations can be built with Imam. Relation based on knowledge, relation in spirituality, relation of luminosity. When we are following the blind faith and when we do just ibadat, someone is very regular and they do ibadat, they actually work on spiritual relation. But this spiritual relation does not elevate or become stronger, or there is no comprehension or understanding of it. It would be like that we are earning money and putting in a pocket where there is a hole. Why? Because the deeds are not pure. So whatever earning we had earned in that hour, due to the hole in the pocket, it gets lost completely. The balance comes to zero. Every day that keeps on happening, and then after years, some may ask question, why am I not seeing any progress? I am regular. The reason there is no progress because the ilmi rishta, the link or the relation which has to be there with Imam through knowledge, that has never been worked upon. And by reading this chapter, by reading this book, actually we are working on developing that link, the link with knowledge, link with Imam through knowledge. So in order to have this vision, his vision, which we read here, exalted Imam's vision, which is based on sincerity, it is based on certainty, all that is created within oneself with friendship and love for him and full zeal for his vision. Zeal is not a small word. Zeal, it needs all the enthusiasm we have in our being. All the efforts have to be put in. Now, we are talking about Ism-e-Azam, but I hope that we are connecting the dots that Ism-e-Azam, the work of Ism-e-Azam will never happen for us Sat Shabad hai Guru Hamara. It will never happen for us if we don't have that backup of knowledge relation, if we don't have that backup of Nurani relation. All that is needed for that word to elevate. In Quran, Allah talks about that word elevating, the good word elevating the deeds. And that good word is Isme Azam. That word cannot be elevated until we don't have the link, the relation, ilmi rishta, ruhani rishta, nurani rishta. Then only that word will be lifted. And it has to lift. Remember, we always talk about the example of a rope. An imam is at the higher end, alame ulvi, anaye ulvi or higher eye, and the lower eye or anaye sifli, which is us, which is the bottom part. In order for us to elevate to the higher part, we need all these um, energies, all these activation of angels, which is spiritual, which is luminous, which is through knowledge. All these angels will help us elevate link by link by link, depending on our sincerity, depending on our level of certainty. When we have that what will it do? As a consequence is attained the light of his teaching and guidance. The result of that we will have in our batin, his talimat, his hidayat. Because it cannot be that any smiley can say that other brother or sister is getting hidayat in their heart, but I am not. Is any smiley brother or sister less than anybody else? No. I would never accept that. We all are princes and princesses. We all are Imam's beloved children. So nobody is less than anybody. We all are equal. Imam loves us equally. But the difference happens because of us, our own action. How sincere we are, what level of certainty we have, how much effort have we put in there. If we have not done the work, we will not have that consequence which we seek, the result which we seek of teaching and guidance. Definitely then we are less than each other. Why? Because our efforts are not same. So it is not Imam's mercy which is less. It is our efforts which are less. Why? Because we are distracted or we give priority to the worldly life. Maula Ali says in Kalam Maula Dunya Ghar Matam Ka Jise Dekho Surota Hai Zaro Zar. Gaflat ka data kanon se kaado to suno kaisi padi hai pukar. If we were to remove those worldly ways, then only we will hear how our soul is crying, how our soul is seeking. What is it seeking? Ganje Makhfi, the hidden treasure, which is his true vision. And we, as being incomplete, having this partial intellect, akle garizi, when we have his true vision, it is mercy of Imam that it is not our ability that we can go to him. He comes in our being. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah says in his Farman that I do not like to live anywhere in the world, but in the heart of Momin. This Farman is an indication that the heart which is pure, the heart which is clean, will be the throne of the Imam. In order for our heart to become that Arsh-e-Ala, where his tashrif, where he is there, where he is Birajman, it is our heart. There is no physical Arsh. There is no pillar through which this heaven is being holding up. There is nothing. It's all gas. If we were to study the science, it's all gases on the top of us, which we call a sky. But in reality, this heaven exists. Where does it exist? Within our being, in our batin. There is this Arsh, which Peer talks about, Arsh and a Kuras. Arsh and Kursi. It exists, but it exists in batin. And Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, Arwahuna Fadahu, has already told us that I do not want to live anywhere else but in the heart of the moment. Meaning that Arsh, if you are seeking the place of that Arsh, we need to enter within our being to find who are we, part of his. we are particle from him, and that urge actually exists, that takhat of Imam exists within us. So if we are seeking his true vision, we have to fulfill the criteria and conditions. Prophet Muhammad, what had he done? And we do know the whole Quran is actually praises of Pagambar. It is all his visions. It is all what he had seen within his, with his spiritual eyes, in his Nuraniyat. It is all what he had seen within his being. It is his being was illuminated by acting upon the commands of God and the Prophet. Now, when we read about Prophet, it is applying to us that if we were to work on all the commands of Allah, His Pagambar and Imam, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu ati'ullaha wa ati'ur rasul wa ulil amra minkum, then we will get that eternal salvation. Otherwise, true vision is beyond us. It is so near, it is so accessible, it is for us. But then it is beyond us. So this is something very important for us to reflect, to review, to check pulse. And inshallah, the next topic, the Kaaba and the Imam, we will do next time. So friends, have any questions or comment? Ji Karim Sahib.
Shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Thank you, Nawat Saiba, for stepping in at the last minute. How much time do we have for questions? Do we have?
Yeah, a few minutes we can take.
Okay. Friends, anybody got any comments or questions, please? While we're waiting for them to...
वर्मा ये जैसा है ना कि अपन तो विजन की अपन पॉइंट्स पढ़ रहे, तो मुझे ये पूछना था कि जैसा इसमें पॉइंट बाय पॉइंट आ रहा कि इमाम एंड द प्रॉफेट, इमाम एंड द कुरान, तो इसका कनेक्शन ऐसा समझना चाहिए कि हकीकती दीदार करने के लिए ये सब चीजें हमें समझना है, तो फिर हम हकीकी दीदार तक पहुंच सकते हैं. इट मीन्स दैट वर्मा.
बहुत खूब, सुभान अल्लाह, यू गॉट इट, थैंक यू.
थैंक यू वर्मा. और दूसरा है ना वर्मा, आज के इसमें एक सेंटेंस आया था कि वो कंपेयर कर रहे थे कि है ना कुरान के ऊपर एक फ्लाई बैठेंगी तो कुरान भी उसको उड़ा नहीं सकेंगी, और इमाम के मॉर्टल एस्पेक्ट्स को अपने को नहीं देखना चाहिए, नहीं तो अपने बहुत बड़ी गलती में आ जाते. तो ये थोड़ा समझाओ ना वर्मा, डिटेल थोड़ा प्लीज.
जी, so what Gulzar is saying is that Quran is a book. If there is a mosquito sitting on the book cannot remove it. It's dependent on us, right? The book cannot do anything to help itself. So in other words, when that example is quoted, it is to make us realize those who say that this book is enough for us, there is a problem, because there is a whole Muslim Ummah who says we don't need Imam, we have our book and that is enough. Now, when we talk of book on its own, you know, a mosquito cannot be removed by the book itself, but by the person who is carrying the book. And Prophet Muhammad hadith, and these hadith, which is not just one hadith, right? Plural is ahadith, hadith is one. There are very many ahadith which indicates that Mawla, Imam, Mawla Ali and Quran will never be separated. It is very interestingly, you know, it is the way Quran talks about the blindness, right? That they are, it's not their eyes which are blind, it is their hearts which are blind. When we look at the authentic tradition, meaning those hadiths which are authenticated by Sunni ulama and Shia ulama, they all will accept that hadith that Ali and Quran will never be separated. Then why would they not accept Imam? It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. And they will do everything to deny the presence of Imam. where Shah Karim is the direct descendant from the chain of the light of Imamat. He is from the Prophet Muhammad family. In fact, he is from Prophet Ibrahim's family. It's the same chain of the light is going on. So when we read example as such that a fly cannot be removed from the book in itself is not complete. The book needs a teacher, and that teacher is Imam of the time. Yesterday it was Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, day before it was Prophet Muhammad. So we see all the chain of the light teaching us, the Nur-e-Mujassam teaching us. The Muslim Ummah says, until Prophet Muhammad was there, he was a teacher and we accept him, but we will not accept Maula Ali. And same in the same line of continuation, Shah Karim, they will not accept the Imam. Logically, it does not make sense. And that is why, we very humbly quote this verse that it is not the eyes which are blind, because everybody has eyes, everybody has vision, they read Quran, they really respect the book. It is the hearts which are blind. And for us being smileys, because of whatever has happened, that we were away from knowledge, for us to have a smiley writer, scholar writing this book, and we reading each chapter relating with Iman, is to help us understand, to have our Iman become mazboot on Imam, how Imam is Imam and how Imam is with Quran. Quran in itself has no meaning, no weightage if Imam is not with us. It is due to Imam's Rahmat, Imam's Isma Azam, Imam's Khana Vadan, that when we enter in the Quran, we see Imam on every verse, every verse. So I hope this helps, Gulzar.
Yes, Banu. Yes, Banu. Shukran, Banu. Thank you. Shukran, Ali.
Any other friends have any questions or comments to make? There's a question in the chat. Can you please tell us again how Imam teaches us the Quran?
How Imam teaches us the Quran. Imam, as we said, Imam can teach us Quran in any ways, any means. Okay, Imam has no limitation. But to help us understand with this book in front of us, which we are studying, it's the living example. This book is a living example that Imam is the king. And king does not need to work. King chooses his slaves. King chooses his slaves. And we see Allama Nasiruddin Hunzai, who in the physical sense did not go to any school or college or universities. Only 1.5 year, 5th grade and 6th grade, half year in 6th grade. And he has written hundreds of books and explaining the ta'wil of the Quran. How did he get that knowledge? And he has spoken about it, that with Maula's mercy, it was taught to him in his heart. And Quran talks about it in the term of ilme laduni, which means direct knowledge. It is that direct knowledge which we read in this book, and through this book, we all are benefiting from it. And we are getting tawili ilm through this slave of the Imam. So Imam chooses his slaves to teach the Jamaat. Why do we call slaves? Because yesterday Imam gave titles of Pir. Today we have no titles. So it is simply Mominins, brothers and sisters, but Imam chooses some. Why does he choose? Why does he do that? The clearer criteria in front of us, if we were to study the biography of Allama Nasiruddin Hunzai, the way he had sacrificed, the sacrifices he made for Imam, the way he did his ibadat, he was a staunch Momin. So all that had led him to win the race. In Quran, it talks about sabiqu, sarihu, run, walk fast. Run to where? Walk fast to where? What is the destination? To Imam. And he did that. And due to his sacrifice, he received direct knowledge. And any of you who reads his book will become the witness with me that these books are not filled with ordinary knowledge. These terms, this knowledge has never been mentioned ever before than what we read in his books. Alhamdulillah. Ji.
Any other friends have got any questions or comments?
I have a comment.
Ji.
Okay.
So in Quran, Allah says that Allah has created everything in pairs. Just because He knows Allah is the one, only one, everything else is in pair. So just like we have Zahir, there is a pair of Batin, heavens and earth, and same thing is Prophet and Asas. So Quran is the Tanzil and Tawil is the Imam. So when Imam gives Farman, that's from the interpretation of the Quran based on the of his or her his time. So that's one understanding is that when Farman changes based on the timing, like Sultan Muhammad Shah in his 72 years of Imamat, he have changed the Farman many times based on what is happening. So that's the reason Quran itself cannot give us the interpretation, but the Imam of the time is the one that based on what is happening, what is needed at that time, does the interpretation and ta'wil and give us the Farman.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
Shukran,
Beautiful. Thank you, Leela. That was a wonderful contribution. Thank you.
Shukran, alhamdulillah.
जी करीम साहब इजाजत
Yeah.
लेंगे.
Any further questions or comments before we close the session? Thank you, Namat Saiba, for stepping in at the last minute and giving us this wonderful session. And thank you everyone for joining and being patient with us. And Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad. Thank you, Karim Sahib, to you.
Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali
Ya Ali
Madad.
Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad, ma. Ya Ali Madad.